So, uh, I want you to think about that famous phrase, you know the one. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God.
Right, yeah, the classic.
Exactly. I mean, for like 2,000 years, that's been this ultimate comfort for the poor, right? Like, don't worry, cosmic justice is coming.
Oh, for sure. It's totally baked into our culture.
Yeah. But what if we've been defining the word rich completely wrong this whole time? Like, what if the poor are actually the ones who are locked out?
Which is, I mean, that is quite the hook.
Right. Well, we're diving into a text today that makes exactly that startling claim. It's from 2017, written by an author named Xu Feng, and the title is literally "The Poor Cannot Enter into Heaven."
It's incredibly provocative. I mean, he takes this foundational idea of wealth being a spiritual danger and just, turns it entirely inside out.
He really does. And just to be super clear for you listening right now, our mission today is not to, like, take a side or endorse these spiritual claims.
Yeah, definitely not.
We're just exploring this really wildly different philosophical framework. Because, well, Shufeng himself actually admits this premise sounds brutal.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
Right. He writes that telling the world heaven belongs to the rich feels like, and this is a quote, putting a knife into the hearts of the poor as their blood pours out.
That is intense imagery.
Very. He recognizes the cruelty, but he insists it's just the fundamental reality of the universe.
Okay, let's unpack this, because how can he possibly justify saying heaven belongs to the rich and hell belongs to the poor?
Right. So what's fascinating here is that the text isn't actually about bank accounts or, stock portfolios.
No, thank goodness.
Yeah, if we assume the author isn't just, like, defending Wall Street hoarding, we have to look at how he redefines poverty and wealth. He strips away the financial ledger completely.
So no money involved at all.
None.
Wow.
Instead, we're looking at this cosmic ledger of giving versus taking. Shufeng defines the poor purely by the act of taking.
Taking, okay, right. A poor person is a consumer. They take from society, they take from nature, and by doing all that taking, they accumulate debt.
Wow, okay, so it's swapping a financial ledger for an energetic one.
Exactly. He grounds this in what he calls the law of the gravitation of life.
Wait, gravitation? Like physics?
Yeah, literally. He frames it like spiritual physics. He says that the universe demands a strict equilibrium, right? Positive and negative energies always have to equal zero.
Oh, wow.
So think of debt as mass. Every time you take without giving back, you add mass to your spiritual entity.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, gravitation pulls the heaviest objects down. If you accumulate enough of this taking mass, your soul gets too heavy. You're tethered to the lower realms just by the sheer gravitational pull of your own debt.
That is, I mean, that completely flips the script on the billionaire example he uses.
Right.
Because he asks, is a billionaire rich? And his answer is actually probably not.
Not in this framework, no.
Because if they built that fortune through extraction, like underpaying labor, exploiting nature, taking resources, they have massive gravitational debt.
They are weighed down.
Yeah, so financially they're at the top, but cosmically they are carrying so much mass that they are impoverished. They're actually the poorest of the poor.
Yes. And then, he contrasts that with a farmer in a distant village.
Okay, tell me about the farmer.
So this farmer has zero financial capital, right? But if they tend the earth, leave the soil healthier than they found it, help their neighbors, and just don't demand anything in return.
They're a net giver?
Exactly. They are operating completely without debt. So in the calculus of this universe, that farmer is infinitely rich. They are weightless.
It's like, it reminds me of business. Like, we judge a company's success by its gross revenue, right? The top line money coming in.
Sure, yeah.
But this author is basically saying gross revenue is a total illusion. The only metric that actually matters is your net positive impact. Like, what's your output compared to your input?
Which really invites you, listening right now, to just audit your own life. Are you moving through the world mostly as a consumer absorbing resources? Or are you a contributor generating a surplus?
Oof. That's a tough mirror to look into.
It is, because if you're a taker, you are mathematically throwing off the balance of the whole system.
But wait, if being rich means giving wealth, what counts as wealth if it isn't money? Like, how does our debt-free farmer actually generate a surplus?
Well, that's the thing. The text breaks wealth generation down into three very specific categories.
Yeah, and reading through the sources, I was totally struck by how accessible these categories are.
They really are.
Like, the first one is soul wealth, and Sui Feng defines this as offering things that bring peace, serenity, and calmness to the minds of others.
The mechanism there is just fascinating.
Oh, so?
Well, you might wonder how something intangible, like serenity, can balance a cosmic scale.
Right, because it's just a feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in a universe governed by energy conservation, things like anxiety, fear, and turmoil, those are states of high friction.
Oh, and friction burns energy.
Yes, they consume immense energy. So by offering serenity to someone, you're reducing the energetic friction in their life. You're saving the overall system energy, and that saved energy gets credited to your ledger as soul wealth.
Wow, so you're acting like a spiritual lubricant.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, then we move to the second category, spiritual wealth. This is defined as offering encouragement, cheering others on, bringing like passionate enthusiasm for life.
Right, so if soul wealth reduces friction, spiritual wealth provides thrust.
Oh, I love that. So if I hype up a friend before a big job interview or I just give someone hope when they're down, I'm literally minting wealth.
You are. You're injecting vitality into a system that might otherwise just stagnate. It completely democratizes what it means to be a tycoon.
You don't need a massive foundation or billions of dollars.
Not at all. The text explicitly says that offering a sweet smile or protecting a single plant from being trampled, that counts as tangible devotion.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Under this system, someone who is just, out there cheering up their friends and respecting nature is generating immense wealth.
Oh, absolutely.
And the author mentions this concept from Buddha Sakyamuni, right? The idea of formless almsgiving.
Yeah, that's considered the absolute highest tier of giving. Formless almsgiving is giving without any attachment. You give without expecting a return, or sometimes without the recipient even knowing you did it.
Okay, so that's two of the wealth types. The third one grounds it back in physical reality,
Yeah.
material wealth.
Right, physical stuff.
Yeah, providing conveniences, food, clothing, shelter, transportation. But it also includes navigating the big life events, birth, aging, illness, death.
Which is huge.
Yeah, just being present to help someone through a medical crisis generates immense material wealth.
It basically redefines the entire care economy as the true engine of wealth generation.
It really does. So generating wealth seems pretty easy on the surface. You just smile, be encouraging, pick up some litter, help a sick friend.
Seems easy, right?
But you knew there was a but. To be truly rich in this system, you have to give without incurring debt. And as the text reveals, avoiding debt is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the debt side of the ledger is terrifying. The negative side is broken down into three categories, just like the positive side.
Right. So the first one is economic debt. That one is pretty intuitive, I think. It's like a strict no free lunch policy.
Yeah, highly transactional.
Exactly. It's bank loans, obviously, but it's also borrowing a tool and returning it damaged, or getting a service from a neighbor and never reciprocating, or even just getting a treat and not paying it back.
Because the energy transfer there is linear, right? If a coworker buys you a coffee, you literally owe them a coffee.
Right. Simple math.
But humans aren't purely transactional. We exist in these really messy, entangled networks. Which brings us to emotional debt.
Oh man, emotional debt. According to the text, this includes basically every human relationship we have.
Every single one.
The care you got from your grandparents, the love and protection from your parents, help from friends, guidance from teachers, even filial piety from your own children.
Yep. Every ounce of affection or guidance you absorb is a withdrawal from your emotional bank. You're using someone else's emotional energy to sustain yourself.
Okay, I have to jump in here. Wait a minute. If I owe a debt just for having parents who loved me as a baby, isn't literally every single human being born into massive, insurmountable debt?
Oh, completely.
But how can an innocent baby be a taker? That feels so... I mean, are we really saying human existence begins in moral bankruptcy?
According to this framework, yes.
Wow.
I know, it sounds harsh. But think of a human infant. They are the ultimate consumer.
Well, I guess that's true. They just take milk and cry.
Exactly. They require constant thermodynamic input, warmth, milk, protection, emotional labor, and they offer absolutely nothing in return initially.
That's wild.
The text doesn't see it as a moral failing of the baby, though. It's just a mechanical reality of existence. You start in a red, period.
So you have to spend your entire life just desperately trying to give back to society and nature just to break even.
Just to return the system to zero, yes. And that weight compounds even more with the final category, spiritual debt.
Oh boy. Spiritual debt. The text calls this the Creator's grace.
Right. This means you incur a deficit simply by existing in the natural world.
Just by being here.
Yes, enjoying the sun, breathing air, drinking water, enjoying the aesthetic pleasure of what Xu calls the kaleidoscopic world.
So the act of enjoying the sunshine isn't some free gift. It's a cosmic withdrawal.
Exactly. You are taking out a micro loan of energy from the universe just by stepping outside and appreciating a nice day.
That is just, it really shatters that modern entitlement we have. Culture tells us we deserve happiness or we deserve the bounty of the earth.
But this text says, no, you don't own the air you breathe. You are just borrowing it.
Wow. And I guess recognizing how much we consume every second, that's the only way to motivate the intense devotion needed to pay it back.
It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because the math is terrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to generate an unbelievable amount of soul, spiritual, and material wealth just to offset the oxygen you metabolize.
You are just constantly working to outpace your own consumption, which naturally leads us to the final audit.
The moment of truth.
So what does this all mean? Eventually, a human life ends and the audit begins. All the positive energy from giving, all the negative mass from taking, it all gets tallied up.
And it's a strict mathematical universe. The outcomes are completely mechanistic.
Right, there are 3 strict outcomes. Destination 1, if you take more than you give.
The takers.
Yeah, you consumed more emotional support, more resources, and more sunlight than you put back. Shefeng says you go to hell or fall into reincarnating at the animal level.
Right. He connects this to the 6 great divisions in the Wheel of Karma. And we have to look at this wheel not as some medieval punishment, but as an energetic recycling plant.
An energetic recycling plant. I like that.
If you die in debt, you lack the surplus energy required to escape the gravitational pull of the lower realms. You are literally too heavy.
So you get placed in the animal realm, for instance, where you're forced to provide physical value without the privileges of human consumption.
Exactly. You're working off your deficit.
Okay, destination 2. You give exactly what you take. The scales balance perfectly at 0.
This is the brink-even scenario.
Right. In this case, you continue your reincarnation in the mortal world.
Yeah, you managed to pay for your existence, but you didn't generate enough escape velocity to leave the system. So you try again as a human.
Which leaves destination 3, entering heaven. This only happens if you give more than you take.
The rich.
Right, the truly rich. Your output of serene energy, enthusiasm, and care somehow eclipsed all the air, water, and love you consume.
Because heaven isn't a reward for good behavior here. It's a higher energetic state. You can only access it if you have surplus energy.
He's super unambiguous about this. He says, the poor have nothing to give or pay back for their poverty, so they cannot go to the heaven.
If you are empty, you cannot ascend.
It's just a ruthless meritocracy of output. I mean, I want you, the listener, to seriously try calculating your own ledger for just today.
Oh, that's a dangerous game.
It is. But think about your negative column. The infrastructure you use, the electricity powering your devices, the emotional venting you did to a friend.
All of it is taking.
Yep. Now think about your positive column. Did you actively reduce friction in someone's life today? Did you generate unprompted joy? Did you leave the environment better than you found it?
It completely alters how you view every interaction. Like, forgetting to show gratitude isn't just a social mistake. It's a failure to service your cosmic mortgage.
A cosmic mortgage, wow. So to pull this all together, Shifeng is completely redefining wealth and poverty, turning them from economic states into spiritual actions. Taking is the ultimate poverty, and giving is the ultimate wealth.
And it changes how we see the camel and the needle, right? The needle isn't filtering out money, it's filtering out mass.
Yes, right.
A bloated ego, heavy with all this unreciprocated consumption, it just physically cannot fit through. You have to become pure outward energy to pass.
This raises an important question, though. Stepping back and looking at the sheer scale of debt we get just by breathing and taking up space. Is it mathematically possible to ever give more than we take?
I mean, logically, it almost seems impossible. The debt of just existing feels infinite.
Right. Can holding open doors and offering smiles genuinely offset a lifetime of breathing the Creator's air?
Maybe that's exactly why the text points to Buddha Sakyamuni's formless almsgiving as the highest wealth.
Oh, giving without attachment.
Yeah. If we owe an infinite energetic debt to the universe, we can't pay it back with transactional, finite good deeds.
We'd never catch up.
Never. We can only balance the scale through a state of infinite, unconditional, formless love, a giving so pure with zero ego that it just breaks the mathematics of the ledger entirely.
Wow. That is a profound puzzle to leave you with. We spend our whole lives trying to ensure we have enough money, enough security, viewing wealth as accumulation.
Yeah, grabbing as much as we can.
But maybe the only way to actually secure our place in the universe is to empty ourselves of the need to take. Something for you to deeply consider the next time you step outside, take a breath, and borrow a little bit of the sun's warmth.